How's you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshops. I'm glad you dropped in. We have our snowblower back in the shop today. That old snowblower is working on. Remember, we fixed the auger lever on it one time, and then we made some repairs to the transmission. Well, the engine is surging. You heard that many times with small engines before, I'm sure. Anyhow, I want to try and get that resolved before the snow starts to fly. And it's getting colder every day, so the snow is getting closer. So we're going to take the carb off today and clean it up a little bit, see if we can get rid of that surge. She doesn't idle too good, and it surges. Okay, to start with, we're going to take the box off the carb here. On snowblowers there's no air cleaner, so that's why we don't have an air cleaner container here. And then, in here, we take the choke lever off. Or it's not the lever, it's the choke knob. And then since this one has a key, there's a wire from that key that goes down underneath here and just connects onto the ground. So we just pull that spade connector off of there. Take that up like that. There's a couple of hoses. This hose right here is for the primer. We can take that fella off. I've got fuel line at the back. I think if I take the carburetor off I can get better access to that fuel line. I'm going to shut the fuel off though. I think I'll take the whole intake manifold out. If I can get it. Oh, those are torque screws on the edge and that. Alright, now with those two torque screws out of there, I should be able to get this Z-bend out of the carburetor. Just like that. Release this clip here in the fuel line. And then get the fuel line off. Just like that. I'm going to take this manifold off the carb now. Oh yeah, it's in good shape. And what I want to do is strip this down completely to clean it. So I'm going to take this little bracket off here. This is just the bracket that the airbox bolts to. Okay. Now I'm going to take this little bracket off the back end here. That just holds this choke lever. Alright, we're getting her down there now. I'm going to take this jet bolt out of here, out of the bowl. The bowl bolt turns out to be a jet. Okay, now we'll take the bowl off. The bowl looks pretty clean, a little bit yellow in there. Take the float off. Pull this little hinge pin out. Take the float with the needle. Well, the needle didn't come with it, but there's the needle. But what I'm really interested in is getting the emulsion tube out. But before we go that far, just look at that. If you can see here, wait till I just get something to point with. Right here on this, oh man, I forget what you call those. I knew it just 5 minutes ago if you had asked me. It'll come to me. But you can see signs of rust on there. We'll take that O-ring off there too. You can see signs of rust on that. There's another one on the side here. They're used for, like when they're manufacturing these carburetors, this is a hole that's exposed so they can machine the ports into the carburetor, and then once they're finished machining the ports, they put these plugs in, and what they are is they're just like a convex plug. Fits in there and you give it a whack on the top. If you can see here, the top of this is a little indentation in it. When you hit that, it spreads it out. Welch plugs! There you go. They're Welch plugs. Anyway, that plugs the hole. But you can see signs of rust in that. So that tells me there was water in this carb at one time. So that could lead to a lot of different problems for me, that's for sure. Okay, if you see right in the throat of the carburetor there, if you can see it, there's a little green stem sticking up. That's the emulsion tube. I'd like to get that emulsion tube out to clean it as well. Pick this choke plate off, and then this choke lever should just pull out the top. And now we can get really good access in there to that emulsion tube. You can almost get it. Whoa, there she goes, look at that. So there's the emulsion tube. It's just plastic. Okay, now there's the carburetor with its Welsh plug still in place. In the meantime, there's also one other port in here around the side. I think this might be what's called, I don't know, the high-speed jet, I don't know. We want to make sure that that's good and clean. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, I think that's just about everything out of the carburetor. Put some carb cleaner to it. If I can get the nozzle to stay in. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, now just take a little air and blow this off. What I have here is some acetylene torch tip cleaners, and I'm just going to use those to clean out some of these ports. What I do, I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but I put these tip cleaners in as far as I can get them, and then I just wiggle them back and forth because the tip cleaners are rough surface on it, and I don't know whether that helps or hinders, but it cleans out the ports anyway. We'll just continue with this cleaning out process. Okay, now we'll just let that sit there. And the emulsion tube is, like I say, just plastic, so some of these tip cleaners that are aggressive, you want to be careful when you're reaming them through the emulsion tube, because you don't want to change the characteristics of it too much. Another hole right here, I think. Yep. You can see that is blowing out pretty good. Now the main jet, there's one port right here. I thought there was another one in this somewheres. Yes, right there. It's a little tiny one. You can just, well, I can just barely see it. People with younger eyes than mine can probably pick that up in a windstorm, but okay, I think we got her clean. I'd like to know the secret to holding that tube in there. Okay, gloves are great, but if you can't hold anything, they're not worth a gall dang, right? So what I'm finding is that this secondary little port that's on this main jet still appears to be plugged. So I'm going to try once more to clear that out. It's so tiny that unless I told you, you would never know it was there. There it is right there. Okay, I just saw the fluid squirting out of it, so that's good. Now there's one other jet in here, if I can find it. This fella right here. Voila. And then one down through the middle. Alright, and now I want to clean out this bowl a little bit. First I had to blow the tube off the, the can. There, not bad. Okay, we're going to put this back together now. So we're going to put this emulsion tube back in. We can put the choke lever back on. Now we can put our air mixture jet, or fuel mixture jet, or whatever you want to call it, in here. Okay. Get the bowl, or the float, and the needle. So we get this needle hung on the float like so, and then we carefully lower that down into its location, and then we put the shaft in there, the pin, to hold it all. And then we can test that to see that it works by blowing in here. So that seems to work good. Put the O-ring back on here. And on our bowls, the indent part here goes over the hinge. And then we take our main jet right here, and we'll insert that in here. And then we can put our choke lever back on here. So that works good. And then we have this bracket that goes on out here. It goes this way because this notch here gives me access to that bottom jet. There we have it. Forgot about the intake manifold. We need to have that on there. So be a good idea, eh? Like, make sure that the intake manifold is there. Let's go stick this back on the snowblower. Here we go. Oh, before we put that on, we have to connect our throttle, and the throttle was in the top hole out here. So we'll put that in. It's just a Z bend, like that. And then we have to hook up our fuel line. And then the clip. Alright, now with my torque screwdriver, turn the fuel on. Put the primer hose on here. And I think before we put the air box on, I'm going to lower it down, just try and start it, see if we made any improvements. Throttle, primer. So there's another little job done on the snowblower. I got that carburetor fixed up. That surge and the hunt is all gone, and I managed to change the oil and cleaned up the spark plug. I also have a new spark plug coming, so I'll put that in. So I think that's ready for the winter now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and something you should remember, don't be afraid of the carburetors. I was terrified of carburetors one time, but after watching some YouTube, taught me to never fear carburetors. Pretty simple when you get right down to it. So get your carburetor fixed up. Appreciate everybody watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to thumbs up me and comment and subscribe. And I look forward to having some interchange with you and my regular viewers. So take care, everyone. Don't forget, COVID is starting to come back, eh? We have to watch out for that. Keep your guards up. And we'll talk to you soon.